We in the office.
There's a price you pay for the game you play.
Oh! We in the office.
Oh,
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome back to Say It How You Feel.
buenos dias, buenos dias. Welcome back. Glad that y'all came back to sit and chill with us a little bit. Hopefully, you got your coffee and everything ready. You know what? I'm really digging like these morning releases. Like I fucks with it.
It's nice. It's nice and easy. It's smooth. Everybody's flowing. We up. We're lively, right?
Hell yeah! And what better way to start off your day than listening to us talk some shit? You know.
Today, we're going to be talking about something that's more positive in a sense, right?
I got you. I can dig it.
We're talking about generational differences.
Word. And so essentially what you want to kick in on today, from what I'm picking up, is just a difference, between, us, our parents, their parents, like that type.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to definitely dive into it. And it also breaking generational curses, right? And
Hell
how
yeah.
all that fucking trauma gets projected onto us. And we're here to and we have to deal with it, right? We're here to deal with it when we're talking about all that. But
All right, so let's hop into it, bro.
let's get to it. So, listen, there is no surprise that there is a significant difference when it comes to previous generations or older generations and today, right? When it comes to sensitivity, when it comes to art, when it comes to, things that you say, a lot. I feel like as of now, things are completely different. Like just last night, I was watching Step Brothers, and I'm just like, a lot of this shit would not fly, right, in a movie today, which is so unfortunate because it's silly, it's funny, but it's like it's offensive.
That shit
And for
wasn't
what
even 10 years ago.
I know, and that's
Well, yeah, it was. I think it was 2008. So it's been a little bit more than 10 years, but that's crazy how much has
some,
changed in a decade.
and it's unfortunate because I feel like through that, art is lost, and a lot of other things get lost too. And people can't really be themselves. They have to walk on eggshells, which is one of the reasons
Mhm.
why this show is called "Say It How You
Say
Feel."
how you
Right?
feel. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, you can say how you feel. That doesn't mean you have to say it in an ignorant way. It doesn't mean you have to say it to be fucked up or offensive. But, at least you're conveying how you feel. I don't want to
And
say adequately, but like how you feel in a certain way, if that makes sense.
and what you talking about, the art thing, that's one reason why I really hopped into the stand-up comedy thing on my own. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why, because we have the platform to say how you feel. But there is no place that I say it more how I feel than on stage. As Dave said, this is the last frontier, so this is where you should be edgy. This is where you should say exactly how you feel, say some shit that might get somebody upset, because this is the only place that you can do that now. And in most cases, you can't even do that, because if the wrong person hear it, now you got to fucking deal with that shit, you
Facts.
know? So it's just like, I don't know, man. This whole sensitive ass pussified generation of, you remember we came up, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. Now words are literal physical assault. Like,
Motherfuckers out here getting beat up because of words, bro, or shooting up
get
schools, whichever one.
beat the shit out of somebody with your words.
Facts.
It's
All right, well,
emotional trauma. Shut the fuck up.
so let's talk about it, right? Okay, so now that we're hitting it, we're already getting on one point. But let's talk about bullying and like emotional trauma and all these other things that are going on, right? So
Yeah.
back in the day, someone was bullying you or someone was saying hurtful shit or saying fucked up jokes, right? You kind of just roll with the punches, and then you either A, you go home and practice some fire, right? Or B, you're gonna sit there and continue to be someone's verbal punching bag, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, a little bit different, bro. Nowadays, you bring a gun to school and you shoot the fucking school up, and it's crazy to me. Like I started looking at the school shootings from the very first incident. Well, one of the biggest ones that we had besides Columbine was Sandy Hook, and from there it just went downhill,
But Sandy
downhill.
Hook was some crazy motherfucker. That wasn't a kid that did that. That was an adult that went into that school and shot that school up.
I know.
So
However,
but like so when we talk about the whole bullying and going home and coming up with some fire, like me coming up, my family were my biggest bullies. You know what I'm saying? Like my older cousins, all they did was talk shit. It's all they did. And then I went to school, and I was in a predominantly Black school, and I was the lightest thing in that school, mellow yellow. Like, I done heard all of that shit. Oh, you glow in the dark. I heard all of that shit. So like, I had to have firepower
Thick skin
behind my
too.
words. Yeah,
Yeah.
thick skin, but
Mhm.
it was like, that's where I started to develop. That's where I started sharpening the tongue,
Mhm.
coming up. And I can't imagine, having social media at that time,
Oh my goodness.
what you would have seen on social media. So it's like with these kids nowadays, it's like they take, with people nowadays, they take everything so personal. Everything is so, it's, they make a mountain out of a molehill, just
Mm.
because somebody said you was ugly or you was fat. Now all of a sudden, everybody thinks you're ugly or you fat. Now you can't even see yourself the same in the mirror. And I know that, body dysmorphia and shit like that, is something that has always plagued us as a society. You had the
Right.
anorexia craze back in the day, people being bulimic and shit.
Yeah.
But, that I feel like that all plays into with people's self-image, and having the the fortitude, to the emotional fortitude to make it through that shit, and say, hey, that's just what one person thinking. Well, fuck you, you ain't perfect. What
Facts.
shit you got going on?
Facts. And
Let's
that's
talk
where that
about
shit comes
you,
from.
motherfucker.
And that's where that shit comes from. That's exactly what I was gonna hit on. It's like, yo, all that shit to me, it sounds like it was just passed on, right? From your cousins, maybe your aunts and uncles doing the same shit to them, or like your father, whoever was involved. It's like that shit became the norm because it was passed down, right? And most
Mhm,
people that are picking on people and being bullies have insecurities of their own going on, right?
mhm.
And on this episode, let's make it very clear that we're gonna be bouncing around. It almost sounds like we may be hypocritical in some sense, but hey, and the reason why I say that is because I mean, here we're talking about having tough skin and being able to get through it. But then we're also on the same aspect, we're also talking about, people reacting to that stuff and being sensitive. So it's like, do I think that as a society, bullying is acceptable? Absolutely not. Right. And, but I don't ever think that someone should take it to the point where they feel like I can't move on or I can't live on because someone said these things to me. And I
Yeah.
think that's where that disconnect comes in. So I know we'll be bouncing around a little bit, but please keep up with us, right? But yeah, man, definitely. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of stuff where, like you said, people taking shit personal and it's having serious effects on them. Like I remember back in the day, somebody was like, "Oh, you fucking four-eyed fuck," or whatever the fuck. You look like
Mhm.
Jordan from fucking Bernie Mac. I used to get that shit a lot. Bro, I used to get that shit a lot. And you think I used to
Hey,
trip over it? Nah, man. If
as
anything,
fucked
I
up
was
as I can see it.
fuck you. bro bro, it is what it is. Like I wasn't even tripping. I was like, you know what, fuck it. And the shit was funny, don't get me wrong, the shit was funny. Like I was
Yeah.
laughing too sometimes. But it's like, as I got older, I'm like, look, man, well, your feet are too damn big, or your nose don't match your face, you smell musty. Like you got to come with that firepower, you got to have thick skin, because the real world doesn't give a fuck. Well, now they do.
Yeah. Now they
Now
do.
they do. Yeah,
Now they
back
do.
then they didn't. Yeah. But
And
shit,
that's,
man.
that's the one thing of like, like raising your kids in this current climate. Somebody called my baby a Karen the other day.
For real.
And yeah, but I
Oh
know
my
why.
god.
I know
Why?
why. Cause she always getting into somebody else's fucking business. Like, mind your business.
Mm,
Worry about yourself. You don't got to tattletale on everything. So what? This little boy cussed out on the playground. So the fuck what? Was he
yeah.
cussing at you? Did you just overhear him cussing? And now you had to go tell the teacher that you heard somebody cursing? Like, that's some
Mm-mm.
Karen ass shit. So I get it. I understand. It's okay. But, also
Yo.
it's like, I know how sharp her tongue can be.
Yes.
If she really want to cut a motherfucker down, she could cut him down. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's one of those things. With great power comes great responsibility. When you can be eloquent, when you are an artist with your linguistics, you
Mm.
gotta pick and choose your battles, and you also gotta pick and choose your what weapons you're gonna use.
Facts.
So that's something that I want to try to prepare her for, because she is a pretty girl and she's gonna have a lot of haters, because of her
Facts.
personality and whatnot. And I just don't want society to put her into a box or to back her into a corner. I want her to be able to fend for herself verbally, emotionally, physically. How do you go about doing that? Especially in this current climate where words can mean so much. You could say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and next thing you know, they're ready to shoot up the school.
Facts. And that's the thing. And honestly, as time progresses, we're just gonna have to adapt. And that's one thing that people, I think, fail to realize as they get older, is like they fail to adapt. Like older people feel like, fuck that, I'm not changing. This is like they're stuck in their ways. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at any successful business, any successful organization that can thrive throughout the times, they've had to adapt.
They've had to change.
They've had to change.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And then keeping fresh blood in it, it really does help make things better. However, the sensitivity part of society is really like one that I don't know. And I guess I have to adapt as well. But I feel like shit was funnier back then, man. Shit
Yeah,
was funnier.
man. It
Like
was easier to laugh back then. You
it
know, you didn't have so
was.
much judgment. It was everything wasn't one thing that I've noticed, like when, as you know, somebody who's hopped into this stand-up game, a student of the game now at this point, because I've been working, it's like I see current stand-up specials and everybody's conscious. Everybody has this political commentary, and it's just like, bro, you can talk about farts, bro. Like it's okay. You can talk about some goofy shit if you want to. You
For
know,
real.
not everything has to be so serious as talking on race or politics. Like I don't want to hear that shit all the fucking time. Sometimes
I
I want to hear
know.
some lighthearted shit, you know?
Right. Or some dick jokes or whatever the fuck.
Or some dick jokes.
Whatever the fuck it is. But that's the thing, man. People want to keep up with current times. They want to stay in that bubble, but you can't. You can't. And especially when it comes to like content and art. Because then
Yeah.
it's like it's not a freedom of expression. It's more this shit is censored. And that's I don't know. But again, as we're talking about change and standing up for ourselves, it's like it's not all bad. All of it's not bad. And I guess as society, we can't pick and choose what we want to be, even though we do. I guess we can't choose, well, this is acceptable, but this isn't. You kind of got to take it all. Like you got to take the change and people like one thing I'm big on right now and what I'm trying to get at is like breaking generational curses. It's huge. It's huge in toxic ass families, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's if there's something toxic that's going on in your family and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit, and you stand up, right, and you go against your whole family to stand on that hill and prove like, yo, I'm tired of this type of behavior and I will no longer accept it in my life. That shit is huge. And
Fact.
sometimes it takes your whole family a while to catch on and be like, you know what, you're right. You know what
But
I'm
you
saying?
are demonized for taking that step. You know, you're the
Absolutely.
bad guy for taking that step every time.
Absolutely. Especially like a good example was in a West Indian family. I seen something where, you know, this woman was talking about how younger generations are not tolerating the disrespect from their family, right? And they're standing up and they're letting them know, like, yo, I don't like what you said, and what you're doing is toxic. And it's coming off as being disrespectful. But truthfully, it's like, nah, like you're fucked up. And I don't want that shit around me. And people feel some type of way about it because they've been like that for so long. And we even talked about it, you know, last week. Like people don't get a pass to continually disrespect you, especially family. So you
Yeah.
taking that first step and being like, yo, listen, I'm not tolerating it. Like that is huge.
And it's like, especially if, you know, you got kids now, you know, when you raising kids, like you don't want to subject your kids to the same trauma that you went through because of these same family members who haven't changed, because everybody has let them do what the fuck they want to do, making it seem like it's okay and justify their actions. Like, oh, well, you know how Uncle John is. Like, no, like fuck Uncle John. Uncle John ain't
Facts.
did shit for me, but shit fucking scar me for life. So fuck him.
Facts.
So it's like another thing that I was thinking of was how now the one thing I can say about this generation and the times that we're living in is how in tune we are emotionally. We have the tools to really, it's okay to talk about mental health. When back in the day, it was more
Right.
taboo. Even while we were in the military, it was taboo to talk about your mental health. And that was just a couple years ago, where it's like,
Right.
if you went to mental health, now everybody like, oh, this motherfucker schizo, oh, he crazy, oh, he's suicidal. Like, no, maybe a nigga just stressed, bitch. Like, maybe I just want to
Right.
talk to somebody. So now when you have that mental health aspect of things,
Mhm.
I look at it like the older generation looks at it like, well, you don't want people to think that you're crazy. You don't want people to judge you because you know about, well, because you can see the signs of your mental health, when
Facts.
they just ignored it or they buried it with earthly pleasures such as drinking, drugs,
Yes.
cheating, doing whatever the
Yes.
fuck they wanted to do to hide that hurt instead of
Facts.
facing their emotions.
I even tell you one, like it is a statistical fact that in the Black community, mental health has been pushed down so far down in the subconscious Like a lot of the behaviors and shit that we see today is from mental health issues. You know what I'm saying?
What you
From the
mean?
addictions. I'm talking like you just said, from the addictions, from coping with the behavioral issues. All that stuff stems from mental health issues, bro. And I'm talking about low income poverty areas of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
All that shit stems from mental health issues, but it's such so taboo. It's against that. Are you going to go see a doctor, a therapist? Are you crazy? Like that's the type of stigma around it. When in actuality, you going to go talk to somebody, you going to get help or going to get evaluated does not mean that you know you're something's wrong with you. In fact, it's acknowledging, hey, like maybe I can do better. I want to be better. So let me go ahead and see if this individual can help me. It's insane how, as a culture and as people, how mental health is viewed in the Black community and as communities of color. Period. But
Yeah, I
yes.
think me and you, as a matter of fact, we
Mhm.
say we chopping it up, or you hit me up like, man, I'm going through it, especially if we were closer. One of the first things we would say is, all right, bro, well, let's go get a drink.
Facts.
Let's go get a drink. And the one thing that we can say is that these substances do kind of make it easier to come out of your show, or make it, they kind of lubricate your feelings for you. You know what I'm saying? So
They
it's
do.
like
Them shit soften you up, get you all nice. I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's ready to talk. Let's talk some shit. Let's talk about
yeah,
it.
go ahead. Go ahead. You got to be soggy.
Yep.
But so that's I can see the appeal, but the big thing is using it as a crutch or becoming too dependent on it, or
Right.
using that, like you said, to cope. That's those substances or those behaviors. And that's one thing that, I feel like I would love for us to break out of as a culture, as a people, as a society. But at the same time, it's like, what do you replace that with? How do you break that?
Mm-hmm. Another big thing too is everything that's changing now when it comes to like people portraying same-sex marriages or like any type of thing that has to do with, I don't want to say homosexuality because it just sounds very like harsh, but that in itself, I feel like the older generation is not ready to accept. That is something they're not ready to accept.
Yeah.
And they definitely, especially from like what I'm seeing, it's like there's a select few that understand. It's like, hey, you love who you love, who cares? And then it's like a majority of them are just like, nah, no. And it is what it is. Eventually, as a society, it's acceptable. Like you can love and care who you want to care about, and that is no problem. But I feel like the older generation is just projecting how they feel onto younger generations, and there's a huge confliction. There's it's not a surprise where people were afraid to come out for good
Yeah.
reasons too.
Yeah, because they would be judged. And
Yes.
that's the big thing is like, we can say on one hand, we need to care about people. But on the other hand, we can say we need to worry about our fucking selves. It's like you can care about somebody and, for them as a person, to
Right.
say, you wish them health and you wish them happiness. But you can also say, you need to worry about your fucking self. And however that person chooses to be happy is their prerogative. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Right.
That same-sex marriage, how is that hurting you? How is that affecting you? Why do you care so much?
Right.
What does that do for you? Because you just want to be in control, or because God said, so God said, yeah. God also said, don't eat shrimp. Look at your ass. Enjoying the crab boil. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Nah, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's always a fucking hypocrisy. That's one of the biggest things I'm realizing as I get older. Like this nation and most other nations are just founded on hypocrisy. It's like someone saying, "This is what the fuck we're gonna do, and this is what the fuck we're not gonna do," and it's like, why? As human beings, we're one of the most complex creatures on this planet, next to aliens. But we're not gonna talk about that. But as you know, as human beings, we're very complex. We're super complex, right? You can't put us in a box. You cannot mold us to be one way.
A
We
motherfucker
think,
can be hot and cold at the same time.
yes, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like we're different. We're just built different, bro. And like we talked about, when you try to control people, you try to tell them they can't do X, Y, and Z, it's never going to work. And that is why we're going to have issues. And we still have these issues. But I mean, I feel like it's a plus and a minus where we're headed as a society. I feel like we're getting better when it comes to certain things, more aware of certain things. But I still feel that, you know, certain things are projected onto us, and it's really just like trauma from past generations.
I really want to leave this country.
You know what, man? Somebody asked me last night, yo, would you want to stay in America? I was like, nah, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna tell you guys where I want to live, but I would. Yeah,
it's just something, man. It's like I don't see things getting better here before they get worse. But again, that's topic for a different day. What we're talking about here is generational differences. Another thing that I noticed was the industry. You know, the way we work now, the way people recognize their value
yep,
now. Motherfuckers so quick to quit a job nowadays. Like they don't give a
yep.
fuck, like fuck
I
you
know.
and this job.
I like it.
And you know, back in the day when we had so much industry, you know, so many different opportunities of manual labor, you know, it was like a motherfucker was like, nah, that's a good job. You got to go out there. You got to do what you got to do. You got to tough it out, work them
Yep.
16, 17-hour shifts. But now it's like, man, fuck that job. My time is worth more than money.
Facts.
So that's one thing that I love about, you know, the way our society is headed, is the fact that like people and companies, industries are starting to look at people, or they have to look at people now more as people rather than expendable machines.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I love it. Like I love the fact that more people are quitting their jobs, and more people are like, I'm gonna get this skill, I'm gonna be independent, and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. Because as a society, right, it's also, for one thing, right, if those companies or businesses want people, they're gonna have to pay them accordingly. And that's fair. There's no reason a person would they spend more time at your place of business or their place of work more than with their family, and they're not being compensated for it. Right.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things the biggest organizations that I feel should get more money is policing, bro. Like those police officers should be well compensated for all that they do, as well as firefighters, EMTs,
Nigga,
nurses, all that.
teachers.
Teachers are
Teachers,
the biggest
being a
ones.
teacher should be a 6-figure salary. Period.
Facts.
Because
Talk
if
to
you
'em.
think about it, teachers are one of the most integral parts of our society. Your teachers
Yes.
spend more time with kids than parents do.
Hallelujah.
So,
Preach, bro.
you know,
Preach.
for somebody to have all of this and deal with so many kids at one time, you know, and have to
Yes.
come out of their pocket to provide for these kids,
Hmm.
rather than us doing it, rather than, you know, society doing it, or the fact that like kids have to pay for school lunches when you can
Right.
go to prison and you get 3 square meals a day, a hot and a cot, and you know what I'm saying, a hot meal
Yeah.
and a cot, like, and I got to pay for my kids to eat. Like, what make
Facts.
that make sense, bro? It's just like there's so many fucked up things in the society, bro, where it's just like it doesn't make sense. And the fact that
Facts.
we all know it, like, why hasn't anything changed?
You know what? I'm glad you brought up teachers. There's 2 points that I definitely want to touch on when it comes to teachers and education. Well, for one, I have a lot of friends, or I have a couple of friends that are teachers, and like the horror stories that I hear on a day-to-day basis on what they go through. Especially with dealing with the newer generation of kids, and like,
These little disrespectful bastards.
well, the thing is, right? We're saying it's disrespectful, but these kids are more in tune with their feelings, right? And it sounds crazy, right? But as they get older, and the curriculum changes, right? They become smarter, and we can say it's disrespectful, but if they're telling you, how they feel and why they feel, that is a complete difference from when we were growing up. Whereas it's like you go to school, you sit down, you listen, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're asking questions. They want to know why, what makes this shit work, what makes it tick, and so on and so forth. But then on the flip side, they also have a lack of respect to a certain degree for the older generations, for adults, right? So it's like with more information they have, they feel like they don't have to listen to an adult, which is
Yeah.
insane. But back to the whole teacher's point, like
But
I
real quick,
completely agree.
before we move on,
Mhm.
the one
Yeah.
thing that I, was thinking about when you were saying that was the difference in self-entitlement as well. These kids are so
Yes.
self-entitled to the fact that like they are the most important thing on the planet. Their opinion matters, and your opinion does matter. But just because you have an
Mhm.
opinion does not give you the right to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Just because
Facts.
you have all of this knowledge at your fingertips, you don't have to read a book to get it. That does not mean that you're the smartest person on the planet. So sit
Right.
the fuck down and
Sounds personal.
listen. Like, bro, I'm so sick of kids, bro. I'm so sick of kids. I ain't talking about my kids, but just
Yeah.
kids in general. You see these kids, they're so disrespectful, bro. bro. You see these different videos online of kids walking out of class or smacking teachers, or, you know, like we was disrespectful too. Like, don't get it fucked up. Like you know what I'm saying? I didn't give a substitute teacher a hard time, you know, in my day, but not to the degree that these kids do it.
Yeah, putting your hands on teachers, nah, that's an easy way to get fucked up. I'm being honest with you.
Hell yeah. By the class.
Yes. Facts. But like I'm saying, when it comes back to when it comes to money and funding for teachers, like there's a significant shortage. And those who are sticking it out and answering that call to be in that classroom and find different ways to teach these kids, because that's a whole other issue too. They're learning different. And when they're learning different, it's harder. Like you have to adapt. And I really feel for teachers, bro. If anything, they should be bumped up to the list before anything else, you know. And then coming back to class from COVID, it's like shit. Like when can they catch a break, you know? But shout out to the motherfucking teachers that's holding it down day to day. Shout out.
Facts. You know, and through all that student debt that, you know, you got to pay back. Like at the very least for teachers, their college should at least be paid for if you chose to, you know, go that route. Like if you chose that career path, like it's just we do teachers so dirty, bro. When it's like how can you justify that? You know, how can you justify a teacher making less than $50,000 a year and having to go out and spend money on supplies for a class?
Facts.
You can't justify that shit. That don't make sense.
It doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. And it's one of the most important things that need to be instilled into children, right? Learning, understanding how to learn and be better. That is the goal. So you fucking them up from school, you're fucking them up at that level. Just imagine when they become adults, what's going to happen.
Facts.
Crazy. Fucking crazy. But yeah, generational differences.
I feel like technology, which is a great gift to society, an amazing part of society, but I feel like it has also weakened and pacified us. You know, like you remember how numbers you used to remember as a kid?
Yes.
How many different phone numbers, how many different addresses you used to be able to, you know, recall. I have 2 numbers literally right now that I remember. The rest of them, I got to go to my phone. You know, I get in the car to go someplace, and for some reason I pull up my GPS. I know where the fuck I'm going. Why is my GPS on? You know, it's like that shit has weakened us. I feel like we're so dependent on technology now because it's so accessible to us.
Facts. I mean, now, well, for me, I'm gonna be honest, because I started realizing that shit too. I'm like, yo, phone numbers is a little bit different, right? But when it comes to like driving somewhere, I typically start to remember like, all right, let me try to see how far I can go before I get lost. And most times, bro, I do pretty well, especially if I've driven that route before. If I know, if it's to New York City, then I'm straight because it's the city, bro. I live here. But if I'm going somewhere else, I'll probably like map the shit out of my head or map it out real quick and then see how far I can go before I'm like, all right, let me cut this GPS on. But it's reading a map, non-existent. Non-fucking existent. Reading a map is non-existent. People don't do that shit no more.
Hell,
you don't
no.
have to.
When the last time you seen somebody pull out one of them pamphlets?
Never. And if you do some shit like that, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker? It's a weird ass nigga. Who carries a physical map anymore? You all right? This nigga Columbus now.
Niggas got jokes. Bro, it's true. And another thing that I wanted to bring up too, I seen some shit with this guy. It was like an older man talking, and he was like, his father, I don't know if you've seen it, but he's like, oh, my grandfather walked 10 miles to school. My father walked 1 mile to school. I took the bus, and then my son will be driving, and my great grandson will be driving. And then like my great grandson will be walking again. Right. Did you see that? Like that's exactly that shit in itself. Like weak time. Strong.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got you. Hard times make for strong men.
That's right.
Strong men make for easy times.
Thank you for helping me out
Easy times make for weak men. Weak men to make for hard times.
That's right. Thank you for helping me out there.
That's no problem, man. Teamwork make the dream work, baby.
That's right. So it's true. And I feel like that is where we are as a society. That's where we are. We're like right there where it's like, oh, weak times. Some strong shit's about to happen. Some rough shit's about to happen where things are going to switch up a little bit. You know,
the times are definitely going to get harder. Yeah, you could exactly. And with this COVID thing, it definitely kind of was a catalyst to the hard times because you can see the difference in industry, like we spoke about earlier, but you can also see the difference in production. You know, how these people who have, so much self-entitlement and can walk off of a job, now it's making it so these truck drivers that we used to have that had to slave away fucking 18 hours a day to transport, they like, fuck you and that truck. Like, I'm not driving that shit for what? So now we got a surplus of cargo sitting around because nobody's there to deliver it. So it's like you can see where the hard times. I just saw some shit. I follow a bunch of conspiracy pages, and the major thing that I'm seeing here is that be prepared for a cold winter. It's gonna be a cold winter, and then you go to the grocery store and prices is up, gas prices are up. Minimum wage is still where it's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? It's like the inflation is crazy, but nobody's paying more, So you gotta you have more cash that you have to output, but you don't have more cash coming in.
Right.
So
what does that lead to? Crime, influx in crime, desperation. Yep. But that's a whole I feel like that itself is a different topic of discussion. But it's true. And you got to pay attention to those things. And we cannot blame just one person for that either.
Facts.
You cannot blame one person. Byron.
But you know who you can blame? When like keeping a stack, one organization that you can blame is United States government.
Facts.
The way we are looked at throughout the world.
Yes.
Did you know that it's fucking feed the hungry commercials in different countries for the United States? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Nigga. Russia has a feed the hungry commercial for America. I think Switzerland got a feed the hungry commercial for America. Like they sit next to a little kid that just came out of a fucking convenience store. Like they have feed the hungry commercials in other countries for our country. And we are supposed to be one of the richest countries. We the American dream, the land of milk and honey.
Fuck I
swear to God, I'm gonna tag you in it on TikTok. But they have the way the world looks at us is crazy. When we feel as though we're a superpower, we're taught we're a superpower. Nigga, we are the Fire Nation from Avatar.
Right.
Like keeping it a stack.
Yes.
We're taught that we're the greatest. We taught that we're supposed to be helping everybody else. We're the world police. But at the end of the day, bro, this country is horrible.
We ain't got our shit together.
We ain't got our shit together, but we're trying to help other motherfuckers get their shit together. Make that make sense.
Facts. And I even do you one better. They always say it, like, if you want to know what's going on in your country, turn the news on in a different country.
Yep.
If that's the truest thing I've ever seen when it comes to anything, because they're not going to put out what's going on, but other countries will. Other countries definitely will. And yeah, we're looked at as a fucking mockery, bro. Sorry. That's what it is. Right. Especially when it comes down to like these race issues, when it comes down to the whole divide in itself. I'm telling you, the other countries looking at us like, what the fuck is going on with America? Facts. What's going on in America? Also, look at the immigration. Look at immigration in itself, not just from the borders, but look at immigration from other countries. People coming into America for a better way of living. I guarantee you that number has dropped drastically. I'm not talking about people coming from the borders. I'm talking about people coming in from other countries. Like
from Europe, exactly. I would say from the Switzerlands and the Frances, right? Those type of countries. They people not migrating over here. Because why migrate over here when things are so good where you at,
I mean, they say it's more dangerous here than it is anywhere else. Isn't like America on the fucking top 10 dangerous countries to visit?
I have no clue, but like I said, yes. I know it's a shithole. I'm gonna tell you that it's a shithole. We don't care about people here. You charge motherfuckers for medicine. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. And now we on a tangent. All right, here we go. Boom. Conspiracy time. How the fuck you make the vaccine free?
Here we go.
If the vaccine did anything good for you think they would give you this shit for free?
You promised
they charge for insulin, nigga. They charge for insulin, my nigga. Like, come on, bro.
You promised we wasn't going to do this, and we're doing this. You said we was not going to do this, bro.
I'm sorry. All right, no, we can cut all of this shit. We can cut all of this.
No, this is staying, but we promised we wasn't going to do this. Okay? We promised. You fucking broke your promise.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about this vaccine. Apologize to the listeners. Apologize to them. nigga,
I had
nigga said we're not
apologized for
doing.
shit. This is saying
Nigga
how
said,
you
fuck
feel.
it.
I
Say how
said
you
how I
feel.
felt. Goddamn it. Fuck what y'all
Mic
talking
drop.
about.
Nigga, slap
That's
the
how I
mic.
feel about it. I'm gonna leave it alone though. I'm gonna leave it
All right.
alone. I like I said,
Okay.
I ain't trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but
But
it's just this country, bro. It's
Mhm.
a sick and twisted place, and the things that they have done are despicable.
Okay. Well, listen, and to tie it all back in to generational differences, can we say, is it safe to say that the fucking twisted stuff they have done in the past has maybe, let's say, dwindled down or is different today? It's not as bad. Can we say that?
When
Or we
you
don't
say
even
the
know.
past, how far in the past are you talking?
It's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog. Like, my great grandfather was 90 years old, bro. He's seen some of this shit. He lived through some of this shit. He is a direct descendant of slaves. And he was a sharecropper at one point in time. So it's like that's just a generation ago, 2 generations ago.
Yeah, 2 generations ago.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
come on, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's for anybody to be weary about anything when it comes to this government, you cannot blame them because they have showed you their hand how many
Time
times?
and time again. Yes.
How many times have they showed you?
Yes.
Even within the past few years, bro. You know what I'm saying? The past 2 decades. How have they showed you that they will fuck you over right in front of your face? The never-ending
Facts.
war that we in right now. Why the fuck are we even there? For what?
Facts.
So it's like, that's why, you know what I'm saying? Like, the generational differences, the one thing that ain't going to change from generation to generation is how this government going to fuck its people. Period.
Mm.
And I can
Mic
leave
drop.
on that note. God damn it. I can leave on that note. I ain't got shit else to say.
He said, I'm out. Fuck that shit. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Nah. Like, it's true though. It's true though. It's fucking true. You're right. That's the one thing that's not going to change. That's the one thing that's not going to change. Unless
I feel like I'm gonna see some black suits knocking on my door anytime now. God damn it.
Mr. Moore, come with us. Nigga about to get a text from the FBI. We got him. We got him.
I was waiting for you to fuck up.
Nigga driving to work and shit. You see a black car following you. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh man.
Them caddies pull up, bro. Just shoot me a text. Shoot me a text, bro. I'm gonna know what happened.
Fuck that. I'm going live. I got rounds. I got ammo.
I got ammo. Oh shit. Nigga. Oh my god. Anyway, moving on. Right. So to close out, man. Like I said, when it comes to society and it comes to like us changing and having these differences, whether it's like money, whether it's emotions, whether it's mental or how we're taught, how we're raised, there's definitely a change on the rise. And unfortunately, with that change, there's going to be some things that are not so great, which is like censorship and sensitivity. But again, I guess we kind of all have to adapt, right? And
man,
I know, man, it sounds crazy, but it's true.
That's the way I'm looking at it. Instead of adapt, you can adapt to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Some things are just right to adapt to when it comes to change. And that aspect of things, I would think more so is, when you see the way that society is changing and what's more acceptable, sometimes you have to accept that. But when it comes to censorship, when it comes to you saying you're thinking, never let them take your thinking away from you. Fuck that.
I agree.
Say it how you feel. God damn it. If somebody's offended, fuck them. Keep it moving.
Facts.
And like, freedom of speech applies to everybody. I say it from everybody to Farrakhan to the neo-Nazis. Say it how the fuck you feel. It is what it is. Whoever don't like it, don't like it. But don't let them take your voice from you. You should always have a voice.
I agree. Shit, all I want, man, is another show like The Office. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want good shows. I want quality shit where it's like motherfuckers could just laugh. If you play The Office now, bro, like watching some of that shit back in the day, like I'm always watching that shit, but when you watch it, it's like, bro, this shit is so funny and it's just jokes, right? It's just jokes. But is it just jokes? Yes, it's just jokes, but is it? Like, man, but I don't know.
George Jefferson was calling white people honkies on TV.
I know.
Like, let's get back to that.
I mean, the shit was funny though. Like, it's funny.
It's just words. It's just words. I hear the N-word now, and it's like, it is what it is. Okay, like,
that's true.
Good
bro.
job.
I don't even get mad. Yo, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You got it.
I was at this that event that I had posted, that Rebel event that I went to for creators and promoters and shit. By the way, fucking fantastic event. It was all inclusive, open bar, free like gourmet food. She was amazing. Anyway, I'm there and there was I'm walking through the crowd and there was this group of white dudes. And one of the guy leans over. He's like 6'4", bro, big. He looks like he's Albanian or some shit. He leans over. He's like, "Yo, what did that nigga say to you?" And I turned and I looked at him, and he looked at me. He's like, "Oh shit, my fault, bro." And I looked at him. I was like, "Nah, man, you good." I just kept walking. And then his boy was like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Chill. You can't be talking like that." And in my head, I'm laughing, but I'm like, bro, honestly, what am I do? I'm gonna sit here and get mad and cause a fight and cause an
For
argument
what?
over that shit? For
Over a
what?
word.
Facts. Like what the fuck am I gonna do? I mean, at that point, it is what it is.
But shout out to Twisted Teas. I never forget that shit either. You can say what you want to say, but you gotta pay the cost behind your words sometimes. So if somebody tell you to shut the fuck up, you continue to keep talking, you might get your ass whooped. That's on you. That's on you.
Oh
That's
my
the price
God.
you pay for the game you play. Shout out to Free. Thank you for that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's
Facts.
it is what it is, man. It is what it is. If you're gonna write these checks with your words, you better be ready when somebody ready to cash them shits out.
I agree. I agree.
And that's why
But
I said how I feel. God damn it. Try
I'm with you.
Jesus. Don't try me.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm fucking with you. But the look on like this guy towers over me, and I guess he knew what he said was wrong, right? He knew what he said was wrong, but he looked at me like, "Oh shit," like he was scared. And I just looked at him. I was like, "You good, bro?" And I just walked off. I just kept going, minding my business, like. And his man's immediately started to put his foot in his ass. Plus, it was like, it's a special event. Like people in there gotta be very careful what you're saying, especially shit like that. But I'm just like, hey man, it is what it is. Like it is what it is. Anywho,
Yeah, I about to say what you should have told him was subscribe to the podcast. Say how you feel, man. Go check us out. Yeah, it's okay. You said how you felt. As a matter of fact, speaking on say how you feel, got a podcast. Check us out, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
See the nigga
But-
floating around the room and shit. Hey, here's my car. Here's my car. Hey,
Here you
my car.
go.
You like saying
As a
shit? How
matter
you
of
feel?
fact, knock on the goddamn glass. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, everybody. Just want to say, you got time. Say how you feel with the podcast. That's all I wanted.
Thanks.
Tip your waiters.
Oh my God. Y'all like saying nigga? Hey, follow me.
I say nigga all the time.
Nah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say this last thing and then we're getting off this. I promise.
All right. Okay.
All right. So I'm walking around, right? And it was weird. I'm walking around and all night dudes was talking to me. And I'm like, they didn't seem like, they was interested in guys, but like it was these other weird dudes walking up to me and like, yo, where you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yo, you Spanish? You Spanish and black? And I was looking like, do I know you? And he was like, no, you just have this look. I'm like, what look do I have? Like you're Spanish, but you're also a brother. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. Fucking a couple hours go by. Another dude walks up to me. We're talking and shit. He goes, yo, you Puerto Rican and black? And I looked at him, I was like, what the fuck is with everybody asking me this? And then he goes, bro, you just look like a Papi Chulo, but a nigga. And I was like, bro,
What the fuck?
I swear, bro.
That's supposed to be a compliment? Like, nigga,
Bro, I don't honestly, dude. I was like, okay. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean though? Like, where's this coming from? And he was like, bro, you just look like that nigga. Like, that's what you look like. And I was like, okay, man. He's like, yeah, I am. I am. And he was like, me too, man. I'm like, he's like Panamanian and some other shit. But I was just like, what the fuck is with everybody asking me this shit? So I ended up, these two chicks pulled me aside. It was a couple. And they were talking and stuff. And this chick was like, hey, do you want to see something cool? And I was like, sure. And she starts lifting up her shirt. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, yo, I'm looking at her fiance. I'm like, oh shit. She might show me her titties. I was like, yo, this is crazy. But she turns, and shows me like her tattoo. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started talking. She goes, don't take this the wrong way. I was like, okay. She goes, but you just look like you're mixed. And I was like, mixed how? She's like, you look like you're Spanish, like you're Dominican, and you're black. And I was just like, can I ask you why? What gives you that impression? She goes, it's the goatee. And I was like, bruh. Seriously? She goes, yeah, that's what she said, bro. It's like the goatee. You have like that Spanish look. And she's like, and also look around. Nobody in here looks like you. Like nobody in here has that kind of look. And I looked around, nobody else really had waves. Nobody had waves. Everybody had like grown out their hair, wearing some eccentric shit. She's like, you stand out. And I was like, oh, okay, very
You should
well.
have told her you was fucking from Thailand or some shit. You Pakistani.
Nah,
I would have blew their mind. Like, what? You
like,
Indian?
I'm Middle Eastern.
For real?
Middle Eastern?
I
Yeah.
had my accent very well.
Yeah, bro. Really? Really, dude? Really? Nigga, I say we cancel. Nigga, like, how you do an episode on generational differences? Niggas over here making fun of people. Oh
Hey,
god,
man. Remember the generation we came up in too? Apu was one of the
I
dopest
know, man.
characters on The Simpsons. Nigga, fuck what y'all talking about. Eat my dick. How about
Facts.
that? I'm so sick of this shit,
Ooh,
man. I'm
I
so
know.
sick of this
I
shit,
know.
bro.
It is what it is. Fuck it.
Say how you feel is the
Anywho.
name of the podcast. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. Yeah.
I hear you. Anywho, we appreciate you guys for coming out and listening to us, man. Thank you guys for supporting us. We're coming up on that 1 year anniversary. We're gonna do something very special for you guys.
Coming
Super
up soon.
special.
Coming up soon.
Yes, yes. And we thank you guys for riding with us. We are only gonna get better next year. We have some fire coming up, some dope ass interviews lined up. Your boys over here networking. Mo's doing his thing networking. We got some special appearances, and let's not forget our brother Free.
Let's not forget our brother Free. So yeah, we got a lot lined up, man. 2022 is going to be a good year. We're going to end 2021 on a good note. But the biggest thing that we want to say is we thank you guys for sticking around with us. And, just this is just the beginning. We still on the climb, baby. We ain't hit the peak yet.
That's right. That's right. So thank you guys for your support. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And we will see you guys next week. This was Say How You Feel. I'm Say.
I'm Mo.
Catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.